So over at the studies here for the Frontline Changes Report, over at studies here, there is updates based on the Ukrainian mapping, and the Ukrainian mapping finally concedes that the Russians have captured most of these areas here in the rear position. According to the Ukrainian mapping, Russian forces have captured the entire area to the north. Is it a bit chunky, the arrow? To studies here, and also everything north of the Savinsky Donetsk River at the Borovka region. So this is a significant amount of changes. Of course, some of these are already reported previously. So the main thing is actually the one over at studies here. This is the one that is refused to be acknowledged by the Ukrainian side until now. So this have is the main one. The other one I've already reported in previous Frontline Changes report. So the next frontline change is over at Vostians, and so there's also massive changes. Similarly, the Ukrainian side have acknowledged that the Russians have captured most of the regions around Platonivka. So they have expanded control in this area here, as well as a lot of this northern half of Vostians. So this is this area here that's the Ukrainian mapping have considered. And over in the city itself, the Ukrainian mapping also considered large chunk of the northern part of the city, accepting that the Russian forces have taken all these places. And of course, in the rear, in the southern part position, we have already reported this. This is geolocated, so there's no way to dispute it. So these are the frontline changes report. Let me see, the arrow is okay. I make it thinner already. So the next frontline change is over at Taike. So this is actually the weird one. So Russian forces previously have mentioned that they have captured Taike, and this allows them to attack westward towards Stalicia. And however, some of this is actually geolocated. Some of this position are around here. However, the Ukrainian mapping refused to acknowledge this at all. And based on their mapping, they in fact claim the entire area here to be under Ukrainian control, firm Ukrainian control. So this parallel universe is extremely parallel. So we will continue to monitor and see how this goes. So we will expand the Ukrainian mapping all the way to the border region according to the deep state US mapping, and then we will see how to whether we will ever get this corroboration about Taike. And then the next frontline change is far away from here at Stemakivka over at the Sviatove front. This is Sviatove. So at the Stemakivka region, there is a few frontline changes. Russian forces have expanded their control around Stemakivka. They continue to advance slowly westward towards the Ukrainian held Stemakivka. So this is a frontline change at Stemakivka. Further south, we also have some frontline change. Is just a slight change. Based on the Ukrainian mapping, they have disclaimed this area here as the Russians continue to expand their control. Of course, based on the Russian mapping, the front line is a lot further away, but we will continue to monitor and see how this develops. And so the next frontline change is over at Bilohorivka. So at Bilohorivka, the Russian forces have taken another tree line or tree region in the northeastern part of Stemakivka. However, the Russian Defense Ministry actually claimed the capture of Bilohorivka. Originally I mapped this as Russian forces have captured Bilohorivka. However, because Ryba and Deep State UA, both Ukrainian and Russian OSINT, disputed this claim, so I have changed this into just a claim, and it's not a capture. So the Bilohorivka, tentatively, according to the DPA's position, is not captured. We will continue to monitor and see how do we reconcile this Russian claim of the capture of Bilohorivka. Very, very unusual situation right here where no one accept what the Russian Defense Ministry is saying. So the next frontline change is just south of this position in the Sivers front as well. You can see this massive claw that is currently appearing over Rozdolivka. So Russian forces, according to the Russian mapping by Ryba, have have claimed that the entire hilly region, this entire region here, this is a hilltop. This is a series of hills, and the Ukrainian forces have actually a series of entrenchment around here at the hilltop, overlooking Vasily and Rosalivka. A huge chunk of it is now captured by the Russian forces, according to the Russian claims. And in fact, they have actually stretched even closer to Rosalivka, capturing more high grounds along the process. However, based on the Russian mapping, they also disclaim that that the front line is not so close to Rosalivka. In fact, the Ukrainians have actually retaken certain entrenchment positions south of Rosalivka. So this comes closer to the Ukrainian mapping in terms of this mapping. However, this massive change that we have not been able to get this information until now is come out of the blue, very, very sudden, and this entirely changed the strategic situation in the Civils front. So we'll talk more about it in the strategy and tactical reporting. So the next frontline change, so we have this is at Novi over at the Bakhmut front. Over at Novi, there is more frontline change. As per the last frontline changes report, we already noted that the Russian forces have expanded their control massively around this area here, and there is a new geolocation from Crimea Caprice. This showing that the Russian forces is actually on this area here. This means that the Russian forces have more advancement around this area here. So in this area of Novi, which means that all the regions around this neighborhood is firmly under Russian control or Russian fire control. So the Russians can maneuver around here freely, and this is going to be rather disastrous for the Ukrainian forces that they're still trying to hold on to Novi. So the next frontline change is at Klishchiivka, south of this position, and this is a weird one. This is a very weird one. So in case you do not know, where are we? Bakhmut city and Klishchiivka. And Russian forces is geolocated right in the southern part of Klishchiivka, and this geolocation is crazy because I have no idea where the Russians attack this from. Is it from this tree line, or they just go through the forest, or they go through the entire settlement? No one knows. So I'm not sure how to interpret this. So in the video footage, the Ukrainian forces bounced. They tried to run away from that area with the Russian forces entered their entrenched positions, and I have no idea where they attack from. So tentatively, we're going to have this this polygon left here, and wait for the Russian mapping to update this, or the Ukrainian mapping to update this to see where is the changes. But doesn't matter from which direction the Russian forces have come to this point, is massive changes, because anywhere is going to be like 2 kilometers in terms of distance. So this is a huge distance for the Russian forces to able to take over. So this is a very, very big change. And our last frontline change is over at Robotine. So at Robotine, at the Zaporizhia front, at the Orikhiv sector. So this is Zaporizhia city and the Orikhiv sector. At Robotine, the Russian forces have expanded further control based on geolocation, and we can confirm that the Russians have taken the entirety of Robotine based on this last geolocation. The entire area here has been captured, and geolocation has confirmed this, and this comes with the other geolocation in the same post, that totally confirming that the Russians have taken the entirety of Robotine. Previously, this was mentioned by the Russian Defense Ministry on the 15th of May. So we managed to corroborate this around 5 days later to 6 days later. So that's all for the Frontline Changes report. We're going to go into the strategy and tactical reporting.